Down here, 10,000 meters below the surface, a human heart beats louder than an engine. And if something touches the hull, you feel it in your bones. This is the Mariana Trench, the deepest, darkest, most crushing place on planet Earth. And the farther you go, the more the ocean stops behaving like the ocean and starts behaving like another world. Most people imagine the sea as blue, bright, and full of life. But that world ends faster than you think. By 200 meters, sunlight is already slipping away. By 500 meters, color dies. And by 1,000 meters, you are traveling through liquid night. Every creature here is either invisible, glowing, or built out of nightmares. As we descend, remember this. More people have walked on the moon than have touched the bottom of the Mariana Trench. And even with billion-dollar submarines, reinforced titanium hulls, and cutting-edge technology, the ocean still wins every time. The trench sits in the western Pacific near Guam, in a stretch of water that looks calm, almost peaceful. But below that calm surface is a scar in the earth nearly 7 miles deep. If you dropped Mount Everest into it, the peak would still be submerged under 2 kilometers of water. The first humans to attempt the descent were Don Walsh and Jacques Piccard in 1960, inside a metal ball called the Trieste. The United States Navy backed them. The world doubted them. And still, against every warning, they went. Halfway down, they heard a thunderous crack on the hull. Piccard wrote that it felt like the ocean was squeezing the ship in its fist, but they continued. More than 50 years later, James Cameron returned in the Deep-Sea Challenger. He had the money, the fame, the Hollywood influence, and he still called the descent the most terrifying journey of his life. And today, we are taking that same descent, layer by layer, zone by zone, creature by creature, until we reach the deepest point ever recorded, Challenger, deep. At 100 meters, everything still feels normal. You can see blue, you can feel light, dolphins, sharks, tuna. Everything still makes sense. At 200 meters, divers begin to disappear from the world above. Red colors vanish. Your blood would look black. Your eyes strain. Your lungs tighten. At 300 meters, even military submarines begin to feel pressure. Steel groans, bolts compress. Every square inch is hit by hundreds of pounds of force. At 500 meters, we cross the edge of the Twilight Zone. Light dies, life changes, and evolution stops playing fair. Here, animals begin to glow. Not because they want to look pretty, but because light becomes a weapon. Lanternfish flash to erase their shadows. Comb jellies pulse their colors like floating rainbows. Siphonophores stretch more than 100 feet long, longer than a blue whale, drifting like living nets. And predators? They turn. Strange. At 800 meters, we enter the realm of giant squid, the same creatures that left scars across sperm whales the size of car tires. Their eyes are the largest ever recorded, sometimes bigger than a human head, designed to detect faint glimmers of bioluminescence in the dark. But giant squid are only the beginning, because at 1,000 meters, everything familiar ends. Welcome to the Midnight Zone. Here the water is blacker than ink. Sound travels farther, smell lasts longer, and light appears only when something hunts or is hunted. At this depth, the pressure is the equivalent of balancing an elephant on your thumb. Every square inch of your submarine is tested every second. A single crack means instant death. Creatures here stretch, flatten, bend, and twist in ways the surface could never allow. The fang-tooth fish has teeth so large it cannot close its mouth. The viperfish launches itself like a bullet. The stoplight loosejaw glows in red light, a color most deep-sea animals cannot see, giving it invisible night vision. But the deeper we go, the more disturbing evolution becomes. Below 1,500 meters, sharks return. Not the familiar great whites, not the hammerheads. Something older, something built for darkness. The goblin shark drifts like a ghost, pale and pink, with jaws that launch forward like spring-loaded traps. In milliseconds, it doubles the length of its face and impales prey with needle-shaped teeth. Its entire existence is designed around ambush. And where we are going, ambush predators rule. At 2,000 meters, the frilled shark appears. A living fossil, 80 million years old. A creature with 300 trident-shaped teeth arranged in rows like curved saws. It moves like a snake, lunging at prey with slow, hypnotic coils. But even these ancient predators do not prepare you for what lies below. At 3,000 meters, bones soften, muscle weakens. Pressure smashes anything with air pockets, yet somehow life keeps evolving. Some animals glow brighter the deeper they go. Some lose their eyes entirely. Some flatten into translucent sheets, and others become massive, giant amphipods the size of your hand. Isopods as big as puppies, and creatures so strange early researchers thought they were hoaxes. But the real fear comes when you pass 4,000 meters, because now we leave the realm of the known. This is where most submarines can no longer survive, where most remotely operated vehicles fail, where the ocean becomes a crushing, alien arc that almost nothing can endure. And yet, something does. Something with teeth. Something with eyes adapted for pitch-black pressure. Something that hunts silently on slopes no human has ever touched. Act 1 ends as our descent approaches the Abyssal Zone. And ahead of us, the trench walls begin to rise like mountains in reverse. At 4,000 meters, the world becomes a different planet. The water here is nearly freezing. The pressure is so intense it forces the molecules of water into strange structures. Salt behaves differently. Sound bends. And every living thing must obey rules nature does not use anywhere else on Earth. We are now deeper than where the Titanic rests. Deeper than where most submarines have ever survived. This is the Abyssal Zone. The trench walls rise steep and jagged, like black cliffs carved over millions of years. There is no sand here, only fine gray silt and the bones of creatures that died thousands of years ago. And then, we see movement. A shadow glides along the cliff face. Slow, deliberate, massive. It is a six-gill shark, one of the oldest shark species on Earth. While the great white shark is maybe 4 million years old, the six-gills family tree goes back nearly 200 million. It swam here before T-Rex existed, and it swims here now. At these depths, there is no fast chasing, no acrobatics, no splashing. The shark drifts like a submarine, saving every calorie. Its extra set of gills helps it pull oxygen from water where there is almost none. Its cartilage bends without breaking. Its body is fueled by an enormous oil-filled liver that works like a deep-sea float system. This shark is not in a hurry. Down here, patience is the apex predator, and deeper still. We pass the remains of a whale fall, a massive skeleton surrounded by clouds of life. Crabs, amphipods, brittle stars, snailfish, entire ecosystems born from a single death. But what catches your eye are the scars. Circular wounds carved into the bone, perfect rings, sharp edges, cookie-cutter sharks, barely half a meter long, yet capable of tearing perfect plugs of flesh from whales, dolphins, tuna, even nuclear submarines. They glow on their bellies, a living cloak of bioluminescent camouflage. Only one dark patch remains visible, a false bait that lures victims close. Then, a twist, a bite, and the shark leaves with a piece of its target. In the deep sea, size means nothing. Design means everything. As we continue descending, the submarine creaks. Not violently, just enough to remind us that survival is borrowed, not guaranteed. At 5,000 meters, everything slows. Currents weaken. Life becomes sparse. The world grows so cold, it is almost motionless. This is the pressure zone where bones would snap instantly, where any air bubble trapped in your blood would collapse in microseconds, and yet life persists. We pass a cluster of snailfish, ghost-like creatures with soft, gelatinous bodies. They have no scales, no hard bones, and barely any pigment. Yet they thrive. In 2017, scientists filmed one nearly 8,000 meters down, the deepest fish ever recorded. Its body is so delicate that once removed from pressure, it melts into mush. To survive here, evolution must erase everything unnecessary. Hard bones gone, pigment gone, teeth tiny, eyes barely useful, but energy efficiency is perfected. At this depth, survival is math. Spend less than you earn, or you die. As we pass 5,500 meters, the abyss behaves strangely. Sediment hangs in the water, unmoving. There is no sound except the strain of the hull. You cannot tell if you are rising or falling. This is where many ROV pilots report seeing strange, unexplained lights, orbs drifting slowly through the dark. Some scientists suggest bioluminescent jelly communities. Others think of methane pockets, but a few oceanographers, off the record, have admitted seeing something they still cannot identify. A creature longer than a bus. A line of lights moving in formation, something with no known outline. A living siphonophore, perhaps, or something humanity has never classified. The deeper we go, the more the ocean reminds us, mystery is a feature here, not a glitch. At 6,000 meters, we approach the border of the Hadal Zone, named after Hades, the ancient Greek underworld. Only trenches like the Mariana, Tonga, Kermadec, and Philippine reach this depth. They make up less than 1% of the ocean floor, yet hold the darkest secrets on the planet. Here, the pressure reaches over 16,000 pounds per square inch. That is like having a stack of 50 jumbo jets pressing on your body at all times. This environment is so hostile that even the most advanced robots struggle. Battery casings fail, cameras distort, electronic signals weaken, connectors implode, and then, from the dark, another shape. A deep-dwelling amphipod, enormous. 20 times the size of shallow water cousins. Glassy exoskeleton, translucent organs, hollow, empty eyes. They swarm around the lights of our submersible. One researcher once said, "Creatures here do not look alive, they look assembled." And that is the feeling, not natural, not familiar. Something alien wearing the language of biology. We descend farther, 6,500 meters. 6,800 meters, 7,000 meters. The temperature drops to near freezing. The visibility falls. The pressure is now more than 1,000 atmospheres. Only a handful of humans have ever crossed this threshold. Suddenly, the sonar pings. There is something large beneath us. 40 feet long. Not a whale, not a giant squid, not any known shark. It moves slowly, deliberately, along the trench wall. Then it disappears. Some call it a phantom, some say it is a misreading, some whisper the name bloop. A mysterious ultra-low frequency sound recorded by NOAA in the 1990s, loud enough to be heard across the entire Pacific. But whatever it is moving deeper toward Challenger, deep, and we follow. 7,000 meters. The world is now a frozen desert of black water and drifting particles. Every single living thing down here has been shaped, not by choice, not by strength, but by surrender to physics. This is where even the ocean begins to whisper. Are you sure you want to keep going? We pass broken fragments of volcanic rock, sharp ridges, valleys that have not seen sunlight in 4 billion years. Life here does not swim. It waits. The trench walls narrow as we drift downward. You feel the weight in your chest, Not the pressure, but the silence. This is the deepest silence on Earth. Even submarines lose their sound signatures here. The world becomes so quiet, you hear your own heartbeat through the hull. 8,000 meters. The temperature falls to nearly freezing, just above zero. The ocean here is as cold as ice, but heavy as solid stone. Suddenly, the floodlights catch something. A shape, a movement, a creature gliding just above the seafloor. It looks like a fish, but wrong. Long, gelatinous, almost transparent. Its internal organs glow faintly under the lights, like a living X-ray. This is the Hadal snailfish, the deepest known fish on the planet. It should not exist, yet it does. No scales, no hard bones, no air pockets. Its skull is soft cartilage. Its skin is nearly liquid. It is evolution stripped down to its final blueprint. But here is the chilling truth. Below 8,200 meters, not a single fish has ever been recorded. The pressure becomes too much. Their biochemistry reaches an unbreakable wall. Proteins simply cannot function. Below this line, life must reinvent itself completely or vanish. 9,000 meters. Our submarine creaks again, a long, low metallic groan that makes everyone freeze. At this depth, steel wants to fold, titanium wants to crack. Electronics begin to hallucinate, sending false readings, ghost signals, images that flicker and vanish. This is where even the machines feel fear. We check the pressure gauge, 1,300 atmospheres, enough to crush a human skull flat in less than a tenth of a second. 10,000 meters. This is the world James Cameron described as like landing on another planet, but darker. Even his $8 million submersible was nearly crushed by a small miscalculation. He later admitted that he felt more alone than any human has ever felt. We descend past the depth where the Trieste reached in 1960, where Don Walsh and Jacques Picard watched the hull flex like breathing lungs, and where they reported seeing something enormous moving in the distance, a shape that has never been identified. The trench floor approaches, 11,000 meters, Challenger deep. The cold becomes absolute, the pressure becomes unimaginable. 1,000 tons per square foot, as if the entire Empire State Building was pressing down on your body. The lights sweep across the bottom. Nothing moves. Just a desert of fine sediment, ripples frozen in time, particles drifting like slow snow. And then a shadow, huge, featureless, crawling across the seafloor. At first, you think it is part of the trench wall, a rock formation, a collapsed ridge. Then it shifts, a massive, shapeless mass gliding silently through the dark. Not a fish, not a squid, not anything from the upper world. A gelatinous creature, longer than your submarine, thicker than a train car, moving with impossible stillness. It vanishes before the cameras can focus. The pilot whispers, "Log it as unidentified." Every expedition down here has one of these moments, a blurred shape, a strange movement, a creature that science is not ready for. Because down here, evolution happens in shadows and secrets climb the walls. This trench has been alive for hundreds of millions of years. It has seen extinction events, shifting continents, the rise and fall of entire oceans. And life here has learned how to hide from everything, including us. As we begin the ascent, the hull groans once more. The lights dim as the batteries strain. The trench fades beneath us. 10,000 meters, 9,000, 8,000. Hours pass. The water brightens from pitch black to deep navy, then to blue, then to light. And finally, we break the surface. Warm air rushes in, waves slap the hull, birds cry overhead. The world suddenly feels loud, crowded, fast. You realize something. The scariest thing about the Mariana Trench is not the monsters, or the pressure, or the darkness. It is that we know almost nothing. Less than 0.01% has been explored. Humanity has mapped Mars, Jupiter's moons, and even the surface of Venus better than our own deep ocean. What lives in the depths we have not reached? What hides in the pressure we cannot withstand? What has been evolving for millions of years without sunlight, without sound, without witnesses? The ocean keeps its secrets well, but one thing is certain. The deeper you go, the more terrifying it becomes.